I'm quite embarrassed about this one, and I can't really talk about it to any friends or family members. I'm currently a university student, and I'm renting a house with a bunch of friends close to campus. Well, not all of them are friends. Some are just people that are willing to cohabitate to save a few bucks. Anyways, I have this roommate who's a year older than me, so 22, and she's also a girl. To say we didn't get along would be an understatement. To put it simply, she is a neat freak and an obsessive friend parent. She bosses everyone around, forces us to do chores, enforces silent study hours, and in general, she's just an insufferable person. On the upside, she's very organized and smart, so naturally, once I encountered some trouble with some applications, I asked her for advice and she was surprisingly willing to offer some help. In hindsight, it wasn't so surprising. Basically, she did it to brag about how much she knows and how great she does everything, but I digress. We spent the night filling in forms, and at some point, I got so tired that I fell asleep. Hands down, it was the best night's sleep I had had in a while, considering I suffer from nightmares and insomnia like your average stressed student. Waking up, I realized I was laying on something warm and soft, and it didn't take me long to realize it was actually that girl's huge boobs. She is pretty thick and quite tall, I might add. Needless to say, I freaked out because I'm not used to sleeping on other girls' bodies, especially having it feeling so comfortable and cozy. She also seemed surprised, but after talking about it, it was obvious neither of us hated the experience. Ever since, she and I started napping and sleeping together whenever we felt like it. I'm not sure how to explain it. I guess we were both lonely and single for too long, and we missed affection and human touch in general. Personally, I was pretty deprived, and most of my nights felt crazy lonely until we started this. Some nights we would even have lengthy conversations about ourselves while cuddling. She would run her fingertips across my back or rub my hands, scratch my neck and my hair softly, and all of those endearing gestures that just felt like a form of care. I do the same for her and literally spend a lot of time on top of her, resting on her soft chest or her stomach or the nape of her neck. I know it sounds weird. It probably is, but it felt like we both needed this really badly. Sometimes I would return from class and I'd just go straight up to her room and ask her to cuddle for a bit to get the stress out of my head. It became a habit. We started hanging a bit more outside of our cuddle sessions too, whenever there was time, but it always involved some sort of touching, like brushing or locking fingers. I only noticed this myself when a mutual friend pointed out we were toying with each other's fingers for an hour while we were out. It was bizarre to me. I didn't get why we both had the need to be so close to each other physically. This didn't happen with any other girls I knew, but with her, it was so natural and calming, and it made me feel warm and safe. I didn't think it was a sexual thing quite yet since I hadn't been getting aroused by any of that, and we hadn't done anything like kissing. It just felt like a special form of closeness up until that point. Then she had to return to her parents' home suddenly due to the pandemic situation, and I couldn't see her for weeks. Not gonna lie, I started missing her a lot. We casually chatted through messages and video calls, and the conversation always went back to our skinship and how much we missed holding each other and how lonely it felt now. I was really deprived. I missed her warmth. I legit spent most nights sobbing because of the longing and because I was a sad and anxious mess. And I felt like I might be addicted to it since I couldn't explain for what other reason I would feel so lost without her arms around me. I kept asking myself, is this natural? To bond like this with a person you wouldn't normally get along with? I couldn't help but wonder sometimes what would happen when one of us got a boyfriend and we'd have to stop doing these things. Even just the thought of that upset me because I felt like I wouldn't be able to deal with it if she were to stop wanting to hold me. In the end, I was left with so many questions. How should I go about this with her? Should I talk to her about my growing feelings, whatever they may be? Should I ask her how she sees things since this is a very weird situation? And most importantly, is it gay to crave another girl's touch like this? TLDR, I developed a skinship with one of my roommates, and I was completely confused as to why it was happening and whether it was normal or not. We were both college-age girls, so it felt weird, and I couldn't really tell anyone close to me. If you'd like to know what happened next, like this video and leave a comment below. I'll update if it seems like you guys enjoyed the story, and here's a tiny preview of what you guys will be getting in the next video. My same-sex cuddle buddy suggested we kiss to experiment and sort out our feelings. I am terrified since I've never thought of trying such things with another girl.